Do you spend a lot of your time doing things for other people, then not have enough time to get your own work done? Are you such a perfectionist you end up doing things over and over before you send them out? Do you allow other people to suck up your time because you want to be nice and have them like you? Do you often worry what other people think of your work? If you've answered yes to one or more of these questions, this video will open your eyes to a revolutionary way to manage your time and be more productive. This video will explain why each day you come to work ready to work hard, but at the end of the day you still have a to-do list on which the most important items may not be crossed off, leaving you frustrated and overwhelmed. Now, what do you think all those behaviors I asked about have in common? Did you guess it was a lack of self-confidence? You're right. See, when you're confident, your mind focuses on getting the right work done. When you doubt yourself, your thoughts automatically get diverted away from work results and into trying to feel more confident. It's how our brains are wired, and it's one of the biggest productivity killers there is. Now, most people are not even aware of it, which is why I thought it was so important to talk with you about this. So stay with me until the end of this video, and we'll do a short exercise that will give you confidence to be more valuable with less effort in all situations. Let's look at this diagram to understand it. Let's start here in the lower right-hand corner of the triangle. This represents where we all want to be. It's being confident, secure, successful, worthy, whatever words you want to use for it. Would you all agree that we're all striving to get there? Okay, good. Now let's move over to the lower left-hand corner. This represents how you feel about yourself at any given moment. Doubts about yourself are here. Now, even if you have solid accomplishments and people have told you that you're good at what you do, to any extent that you have just like a pocket of a lack of self-confidence, then you can't be in the state of that right-hand corner, right? That rock-solid confidence. It's in our nature to strive to get to that place of confidence, so we all figure out a way to get there somehow. Most of us invest a lot of time acting towards other people to try to get them to act towards us so we can be confident, and we don't even realize it. There are two common ways people do this, and let me explain how they interfere with your productivity. The first is, you might put your time, your effort, and your energy into trying to get others to think highly of you. You want them to think well of you so that they will in turn show you appreciation, validation, approval, reassurance. Then you can say to yourself, well, if they think I'm doing a good job, then I must be competent, and I can feel more secure in my position. If they appreciate me, I must be a good person. You try to see yourself through their eyes and borrow your confidence from the way you get them to think about you. Here are some real-life examples. Like, my client is a sales guy. He'd make sales calls to his second and third tier revenue clients. They'd be on the phone shooting the breeze, and inevitably they'd say, "You're such a great guy." And for people in his office, he'd do things to please them and plan the firm get-togethers and constantly let them interrupt him. He did succeed at being told he was a great guy, but did he make his sales calls and reach his income goals? No, you're right, he didn't. Or my client who was a partner in a big consulting firm. She had the idea that she must respond to emails within seconds after they came in. In her mind, it was the only way she could prove to colleagues she was on top of her work, right? So they wouldn't judge her. She ended up spending 2 hours a day responding to not necessarily urgent emails, and she would write and rewrite the emails and memos before sending them out, all instead of developing business or mentoring her team members. Do you see how in both of our examples, they did behaviors that made hours of time unproductive towards their real goals because they were trying to get others to approve of them? Do you recognize yourself in these examples? Well, if you don't yet, then keep listening, because you may recognize the second way that people try to get confident. So let's take a look at our triangle from another perspective. Remember, we just talked about how you act to get people to approve of you. Now we're going to talk about how you act to prevent people from disapproving of you. In this case, if you believe that people you work with think pretty well of you now, then you won't want to do anything to lose their good graces. So you might procrastinate on sending out that email blast if you don't think it will go well. You might not ask your boss for information you need because you're afraid you might look stupid. You might keep yourself buried in busy work instead of doing work that is important and new or shows your thinking. You might not follow up on phone calls to a big new client, thinking that you're not at their level. Now, why this self-sabotage? In case someone might shoot you down or criticize you, you're not going to risk putting yourself out there. You just prevent other people from giving you that feedback. Hey, if you don't send off that memo, then they can't critique it. But also you don't get recognized or promoted, or you don't reach your income goals. The more you try to manage other people's perceptions in order to be confident in yourself, the less you get done. To be productive, you must go direct. Here's the secret. Put your time into creating results in the real world that make you proud of yourself and bulletproof to others' criticisms. This is what it means to have a productivity mindset. Now, here are some examples of results you can achieve once you have this kind of productivity mindset. That sales guy I was telling you about, he now spends his days having lunches and getting referrals from his highest revenue clients. He keeps great relationships with his office mates, but doesn't get interrupted all day. Within 9 months, he grew his business 80%. And the consultant? She started to go home an hour earlier each day. And get this, she was promoted to the head of her office in 6 months. Now that you understand the relationship between confidence and productivity, here's an exercise to help you go direct. Grab a pen and paper now and write down, what behaviors do you do to get the approval of others instead of doing important work? Is it doing favors for other people but not getting your own work done? Is it perfectionism, etc.? Or write down, what behaviors do you do to prevent others from disapproving you? Like procrastination, keeping busy, staying in your comfort zone. And now here's something that you can do from now on. Catch yourself. Whenever you say something to yourself about other people, like what will they think or what will their reaction be, then immediately turn it around. Instead of worrying what people think of you, worry about the right things that other people think. Focus on how you can improve the experience of the end users of your work. For example, ask yourself how you can write that email so that it's even more clear for your boss to read and act on. Ask yourself, how can you find out more about how your product or service can better address the concerns of your clients? Once you have a productivity mindset, you accomplish so much, you'll never have to deal with confidence issues again. I mean, nobody can judge you when you've helped change the lives of clients or made your organization more effective, can they? What we've just gone over is the very first step to quickly building the confidence you need to be more productive than you ever have in your life, and to do so with energy and confidence. Can I share with you my hot off the presses favorite story about how quickly you can go direct too? Some of you who are on my list know that I asked for a handful of people to early test my program on how to develop a productivity mindset. The early testers received the module about how to go direct. 7 days later, I heard the following story. From a lawyer, here's what he said. After watching the video on Go Direct, I said no more to all my people-pleasing. I stopped letting people steal my time and putting everybody else's interest ahead of mine. As a lawyer, I hadn't been asking for retainers and I had been selling myself short. That video got me kicked into action. Already, my retainers have increased 5-fold, and I've made more money this past week than in the last 5 months. I've freed up several hours of my time. Wow, I've never moved like this in my life. If you want to have the kind of turnaround that JD the lawyer had, get immediate access to the full set of techniques you can use to go direct. Do so at www.productivitymindsetmastery.com. Go there now.